Welcome one and all to the Cine Geeks podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide. I'm Angela, still joined by my co-host Roy.
Hey everyone, welcome to this episode. Hi.
Alright, for today's episode, medyo mag-break muna tayo from talking about the latest releases in our local cinemas. Kasi, well, still, at the day of recording, talagang namamayagpag pa rin ang Inside Out 2.
Yes.
So, we are pivoting over to discussing the following new offerings from our favorite streaming services. Ayan. So,
Yes.
streaming muna tayo.
Yep.
House of the Dragon from HBO. Doctor Who from BBC and Disney Plus Philippines. The Boys from Prime Video and Bridgerton from Netflix.
Yep. Tama yung sinabi mo kanina na for now, iwan muna natin ang movies. Pabayaan muna natin si Inside Out dun.
Yeah.
TV muna tayo or streaming, should I say.
Yeah.
Okay, but before we continue, we would still like to remind everyone who hasn't done so to please follow our pod wherever you listen to podcasts like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.
Also, set your players to automatically download our new episodes so you don't miss out on our fun Cinegeek conversations. Please don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, and X, aka Twitter, so you can join in on the fun. Also, visit our website, www.cinegeekspod.com for the latest in movie and TV news and reviews.
And by the way, if you haven't done so, please join us on Facebook. We have a group called Cinegeeks PHHQ. There, we regularly interact with our fellow Cinegeeks about movies, TV shows, and all things geek. We regularly post stuff. And who knows, we might soon have some contest where you can win swag and hopefully advanced screening invites from our friends from the various studios. So just join the group. It's on Facebook again. That's Cinegeeks PHHQ.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
You can also create posts, and interact with other Cinegeeks.
Yes, please.
Talking about whatever you're watching right now.
Yeah, we just wanna give a shout out to some of our fellow Cinegeeks na nag-interact with us or post regularly like JC Trono. We also have Tita Pauline Casal.
Yes.
Hi, Tita Pauline. We also have one of our good friends, Mac Mateo. Yes. And many, many others who interact with us, including our cinema buddies. Our
Cinehan buddies. Dave.
Yes.
Shout out to you, Dave.
Dave, Claude. We have Vito. We have Karen, etc., etc. So if you want a shout out on the next episode, just let us know what you think of the latest releases. And we'll shout you out here on the episode. Okay. So let's get to it. Right away?
Yeah.
Okay. Our first show for this episode, we have Season 3 of Bridgerton. Okay. So, I understand Bridgerton has been, again, as mentioned, going on for 3 seasons. Full disclosure, hindi ako nanonood.
Yeah.
This is a huge show. Okay. So we have
an Angela show.
An Angela show. But from what I understand, okay, from the few times na nanonood ka na either nasa sala na ikaw yung nasa TV muna
or on my iPad.
On your iPad.
Most of the time, yeah.
I can see na yung it's a Victorian set.
No, it's Regency.
Regency. Sorry, my bad. Regency era.
Yeah.
England. Pero meron siya nung parang mga stylistic flair like yung anachronistic music.
True.
Okay.
Well, it's a Shondaland show, by the way.
Of course. Shondaland. Of course.
And it's based on a romance novel.
Okay.
By Julia Quinn.
Okay. All right. So, yung kanina mga sinabi ko, I understand that those are very, very surface level things to pick up about Bridgerton. But before I ask you about what you thought of Season 3, siguro could you give us like a quick background as to where the story is so far for Bridgerton. Wait, sorry. Before you continue, tanongin ko lang ano ba to? Para ba tong serialized version ng mga Precious Hearts na mga novel. Parang ganun.
Actually, sobrang malapit doon.
Okay.
Especially yung mga medyo erotica na Precious Hearts.
Medyo lumabas naman yung edad natin. Hindi ko sinabing Wattpad. Ang sinabi ko,
Precious Hearts eh. Uy, naalala ko yun nung high school.
Oo, nasa tabi ng cashier yun lagi pag nasa national ka.
Oo,
yun yung huli mo
tama.
makikita bago ka magbayad ng ballpen mo, ng notebook mo.
Wow.
Yun. Tapos pag bata ka
Rich
pa.
kid. Kami kasi nung...
Gabi, rich kid, hindi naman.
Sa public school kasi, nirerentahan lang namin yun dun sa ate sa baba. Tapos parang 10 piso, 3 araw na. Or parang, hindi naman siguro 10 piso, siguro mga 20, ganun.
Okay.
Nire-rent mo siya. Tapos talagang, yung binabasa kong mga nun, talagang yung medyo brownish na hindi yung parang bagong-bago na nasa National Bookstore.
Nalaspag na yung libro. Anyway, sige, going back. What's the story or where are we so far in the Bridgerton saga?
Ayun, like I said, this is the story of the Bridgerton siblings. And all their names are parang in alphabetical order. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We started with D, si Daphne.
Okay.
So, yun yung season 1. And then season 2 was Anthony. Siya yung panganay, Bridgerton. And then, tong pangatlo, supposedly, yung order sa books is dapat yung story na dapat ni Benedict, yung pangalawang kapatid. But they skipped that and went directly to the 4th book.
So, kanina, just to check if I got you correctly, sabi mo, yung release ng Bridgerton books, story-wise, is alphabetical. Yung parang book 1 is A...
No.
Or book 1 is D.
Yung magkakapatid, yung pangalan nila, from eldest to youngest, is in alphabetical order.
So hindi parang importante dun sa release order yung alphabetical order. Hindi.
Oo, kasi
Okay,
yung
sige,
season
sorry.
1 was
Sige.
si Daphne.
Okay, sige. Sorry, medyo naguluhan ako kanina din. Pero sige, please continue.
Yan. So yung novel series, Daphne's Story. The second book was Anthony's story. The third book was Benedict's story. So yun dapat yung magiging season 3 if we follow yung kung paano talaga yung book order. Pero they skipped to the 4th book, which is Colin's story. And this is the story of Colin falling in love with his best friend, si Penelope Featherington. And siya actually, secretly, si Lady Whistledown. Siya yung parang gossip girl.
Okay, so may ganong element din sa Bridgerton. Okay.
So, yon. So, parang from friends to lovers, transition, and then her dark secret. Yun yung tinatakal nitong season 3.
Okay.
Penelope has always been my favorite character in the series since season 1. Kasi mas nakikita ko yung character development niya dun sa season 1 and 2.
Okay.
She is a wallflower, described as a wallflower both in the series and in the books. Tapos, nagkakaroon lang siya ng power through her parang gossip girl persona. And now, parang yun nga, since lagi niyang ginagamit yung Bridgerton family dun sa mga columns niya, merong konting conflict of interest kasi she wants to marry into the family kasi secretly din, since childhood, in love siya kay Colin. Pero Colin only saw her as a friend. So, yon. Alam mo, parang may movie na ganito kay Marvin and Jolina. Parang, oo, kaibigan mo ko, kaibigan mo lang ako. Parang ganun.
Okay.
If you know the title of that movie, please comment it on our Spotify comment section.
Sige, go.
Anyways, napaka tale as old as time, yung unrequited love, o kaya yung secretly in love ka sa best friend mo.
Okay.
Pero kasi, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the season na.
Okay.
And the spoiler warning, of course. Na-miss ko yung pagiging laser focus niya dun sa sibling nung season. Kasi, ang dami-daming mga ibang subplot na nandun sa season 3.
Okay.
Parang we meet these other characters and meron silang subplot. Yung kapatid ni Lady Danbury, para lang magkaroon ng parang romantic interest yung nanay ng mga Bridgerton. Tapos, yung boxer and his wife. Parang ang dami-daming storyline nakasabay nung story ni Penelope and Colin.
Okay.
Na comparing to the previous seasons, na season 1 and season 2, mas laser-focused siya.
Okay.
So, parang na-diminish ng konti. Parang naging background character yung dapat bida.
For the season itself.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, yung meron din silang mga binago from the book that I think, well, many fans were a little bit irked or parang bakit ginawa. Kasi yung isang sister, si Francesca, later pa in the book series siya yung magiging bida. Yung parang isa sa mga future romantic interests niya, they introduced the character, male character yun sa book, and they turned it into a female character.
Gender swap nila.
Oo.
Okay.
So I get it na they want to cater to the LGBT audience. And meron naman na-introduce na siya even before pa. It's not like there's a void of representation in the story, in the show. Kasi meron naman eh. Parang it felt a lot like parang queer baiting lang, according to the other fans. So I want to know what other Bridgerton fans think about that.
Yeah, please comment it on our episode comments page on Spotify.
And also, ayun, yung naging story ni Penelope and Colin, it was a bit rushed dun sa part 2. Kasi this season is also the first Bridgerton season na divided into 2 parts. I don't know why they decided to do that. Kasi parang nawala yung momentum. Sana tinuloy-tuloy na lang nila.
Ano kasi yan parang nagiging trend recently. Yung ganyan mga part 1, part 2 ng show. I think I can gather na what you thought about it in this final product. Pero if ever ba, could it have worked kung meron lang mga binagong parang plot elements or yung pagkaka-divide ng kwento, itong pag-distribute nila part 1, part 2 ng season 3? Or talagang unnecessary siya?
Kasi both part 1 and part 2 sobrang scattered ng focus eh.
So magkaiba talaga, parang magkaibang show or magkaibang season altogether.
Parang hindi bida yung dapat bida.
Okay.
Kasi ang dami masyadong subplot, ang dami masyadong storylines na sinusundan.
True.
So, kung I would have loved it, siguro, I would have preferred it if part 1 focused on the side characters, then part 2, mas sa kanila na nag-focus. Pero hindi pa rin eh.
Wala. Medyo parang masyadong na-excite siguro, I guess, in terms of writing. Ang daming gustong ibuhos agad, parang ganun.
True. And may theory din kasi ako. Parang they're all vying for spin-offs.
Ay.
Parang ganun eh. Parang ganun yung gusto nilang gawin. Kasi kaya ang dami-dami nilang ini-introduce na characters eh. Kasi dati, hindi naman ganun eh. Pero because of the success of Queen Charlotte na spin-off, na parang siguro nagli-litmus test sila.
So para siyang yung equivalent ng meme na you get a show, and you get a show, and you get a show.
Oo.
Okay.
Kasi parang I felt like hindi naman kasi relevant sa story ni Penelope and Colin yung story nung boxer and his wife. Napaka-random. Parang feeling ko kapag yung part nila lagi ako nag-check out.
Coming soon to Netflix, Bridgerton, The Boxer. Sige, final thoughts about this and your rating for season 3.
It's a letdown for me, especially coming from season 1 and 2 na focused dun talaga sa the Bridgerton sibling of the season. They felt like side characters.
In their own show.
Yeah, in their own season.
Well, here's hoping na season 4 will be better. Is it already in production or wala pang announcement?
What's up, Cinephiles? I'm Nicholas Ibarra.
And I'm Bella of Stratus.
And we want to tell you about the Gimme 3 podcast, a series for cinephiles. A show in which we pick 3 films based on one theme.
That's right. 3 films, one theme, like Gimme 3 movie musicals.
Gimme 3 Michelle Pfeiffer films.
Gimme 3 Pixar films.
Gimme 3 reasons why you shouldn't listen to our show. That's not an episode, that's just a legitimate question.
The Gimme 3 podcast is not just about expanding your watch list, it's about saving you precious time when you're endlessly scrolling through your streaming apps. So take 3 seconds and subscribe to the Gimme 3 podcast, a series for cinephiles.
I haven't heard or I haven't yet seen yung news. Pero pretty sure. Kasi ang dami pang books eh.
Tsaka ang dami namang nanonood din. So, hindi siya parang yung katulad ng mga ibang Netflix shows na, poof, it became Coco Crunch. Hindi naman siguro. Okay. Anyway, so how would you rate Season 3, Part 1 and 2 of Bridgerton?
Siguro kung yung Season 1 sa akin was A-. Season 2 would be A-. Season 3 is medyo B+.
Okay.
I can say B+, kasi kahit papano naman, Penelope is still my favorite character.
Okay. So, yun yung nag-plus doon.
Only for Nicola Coughlan.
Okay. Sige. You can catch both parts of Season 3 of Bridgerton on Netflix Philippines, streaming now. Let's now go over the next show for this episode. We will be talking about the first 3 episodes, or rather, Ange, again, will be talking about the first 3 episodes of Season 4 of Prime Video Philippines' The Boy. So, just a little background. Actually, kasi pagdating sa mga show, parang personally kasi kung hindi ko siya nasimulan at hindi ko na napanood yung mga parang quote-unquote required watch bago magsimula yung isang season, hindi naman hindi na nag-check out. Pero parang medyo I'll watch it at my time ba. Yon. Pero kasi ikaw, before...
Mas madami akong time.
Hindi naman. Mas ano ka, mas seasoned. Yeah.
Wow.
Mas seasoned kang connoisseur.
Hindi, mas ano lang ako.
Ano
mas,
ka eh?
mas averse lang ako sa tulog. Kaya siguro.
Ipa-positive scripting na nga eh. Sasabihin ko na nga na ikaw yung talagang streaming connoisseur sa ating dalawa eh. Ikaw yung streaming sommelier ng Cinegeeks.
Don't know how to feel about that.
Well, to be seriously, kasi before the premiere of season 4 of The Boys.
The night before,
quite literally.
Yeah.
Bininge mo yung buong Gen V season 1.
Yeah.
So, para kasi ang sinasabi sa atin ng mga friends natin, Sinyan Buddies, na sobrang magiging important nung, what do you call this? Nung Gen V sa kwento ng season 4.
Yeah. Shout out to Blake Salcedo.
Yes. Our own Aquaman, Blake Salcedo, if you're listening.
Si
Hi.
Butcher.
Yes. Yun din, our own Butcher. Pero, ako personally ngayon, para siyang nung, naalala mo nung namamayagpag pa yung The Walking Dead. Of course. Tapos, biglang lumabas si Fear the Walking Dead.
Oo.
Alam mo yun, parang oh my God, how many shows do I have to watch just to follow a story? Kaya doon ako medyo, dahil sa Walking Dead, ako nakadevelop nung aversion ng konti doon sa parang ang daming kailangan panoorin na show.
It's funny you mention Walking Dead kasi may bagong character dito sa The Boys Season 4 na sobrang isa sa mga main figures
ng Walking Dead.
Oo.
Okay. Sige, let's na. What did you think of the first 3 episodes of season 4 of The Boys? Go ahead.
Ayun, just to finish lang yung previous thought ko, yung new character na in-introduce dito was Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Hey!
AKA Negan.
Hey! Yes, AKA the character na nagpa-turn off sa akin sa Walking Dead after niyang dumating.
Which is ominous nga kasi pumasok siya dito.
Oh no.
And then remember what happened to The Walking Dead when Negan arrived?
Oh my God.
Or when Jeffrey Dean Morgan arrived. Parang may balat yata si Koya.
Gabi naman. Pero di ba part siya ng Supernatural noon?
Well,
another Eric Kripke show.
Yeah. That's right. Actually, madami na siyang ibang characters from Supernatural na sinama dito.
Mm-hmm.
Well, isa sa mga pinaka-main characters ng The Boys and Supernatural was Jensen Ackles.
Yeah.
Si Soldier Boy. Yan.
I'll go.
Pero yon, it's been in hot water itong season na to because this is the most political season thus far.
Okay.
And
for obvious reasons.
Well, ako kasi, hindi naman ako ganun ka-invested sa American politics.
Okay.
Mas sila yon kasi matindi talaga yung politics nila eh. And shows like this, they take personally, even the fans. So for me, not accounting the politics of US, maganda naman yung takbo niya. Although there are very, very obvious references to a real-life public figure, pero it's still consistent with the characterization.
Hindi naman siya parang naging political just for the sake of being political. Sinundan pa rin naman niya yung established na kwento so far, nung mainline na The Boys, or hindi?
Oo, kasi I believe so. That's for me, personally. Kasi nakikialam naman na talaga si Homelander sa pag-run ng vote company.
Mm-hmm.
Diba? If he meddles with the corporate side of vote, what's stopping him from meddling in the political side of vote?
As well.
Yung vote parang parang e-corp Parang lahat ng mga buildings, lahat ng brands, lahat ng hawak ng vote.
Yeah. Okay.
Even parang mga convenience stores, vote, ganun. So, kumbaga, kahit yung mga schools nga, Gen V, is still run by vote.
Okay. Sige. Question lang. In terms of yung ating team, yung The Boys, the titular team, where are they? Where are the chess pieces on the board, kumbaga?
Well, I think I mentioned this in the previous episode na, ayun nga, Starlight shunned her superhero persona.
Yeah.
She left the Seven. And si Huey naman is back with the boys.
Okay.
Mother's Milk is the boss now.
Wow. Okay.
As in, tinanggal na nila si Butcher. Because of his, his tendencies.
Okay.
And yung decision niya not to take the shot.
Ay, ito ba yung kay Ryan?
Oo,
From
yung
last season?
season
Okay.
3. Pinili
Okay.
niya si Huey, di ba?
Okay.
Yon. So, parang, yun na yun eh. Parang, everything they did, all they sacrificed for the mission, lahat na sayang.
Okay.
Because of Butcher.
Okay.
And yung abuse niya nung Temp V.
Yung, yes. That I remember. Na nag-powers siya sandali, di ba? Okay.
Pati si Huey, di ba?
Kasi, that was weird. Oo.
Yan.
Pero sige, go. Continue.
And he's now suffering the effects of his abuse of Temp V. Kasi
Okay.
meron na siyang terminal disease.
Si Butcher.
He has 6 months to live.
Okay.
And aware ang lahat doon, even Homelander and Ryan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, spoilers na tayo dito ha.
Sige.
So, andun pa rin naman yung signature crass and vulgar style ni Eric Kripke.
Okay.
Pinaka nagustuhan ko doon, yung TruthCon, yung parang convention ng mga conspiracy theorists. Sobrang wild.
Okay.
But it's not outside the realm of possibility kasi. And yun nga, marami kasing butthurt na natamaan, kaya ang daming nagre-rate
Nagre-review
bomb.
bomb.
Nagre-review bomb ngayon doon.
Dun sa end of season 3, if I'm remembering it correctly, na-establish na part of the villainous side of the story, si Victoria Newman, yung congresswoman, tama?
Yeah. And
Okay.
she won as vice president here.
Wow, okay. Okay, sige, go. How is her nefarious plan chugging along so far?
Ayun nga, the season started with the election results.
Okay.
And Victoria Newman, previously a congresswoman, is now the vice president.
Di ba siya yung anak niya, no? Anak ni Giancarlo Esposito? Okay, sige, go.
Adopted daughter.
Okay.
And the government is in the pockets of Vought. Parang merong unfriendly partnership tong si Victoria Newman tsaka si Homelander.
Okay. Pero
Parang
diba,
they're serving their own selfish purpose.
True.
Pero they wanted to band together.
Pero, di ba, well, so yun yung eventually na-reveal na they're both evil. Pero kasi di ba nung past few seasons, pinapakita na si Newman, gusto niyang i-regulate yung superheroes, di ba?
Pero front niya lang yun.
Front lang niya yun.
Oo.
So lumabas na ngayon yung true colors niya so far.
Pero yun nga yung hawak ni Homelander na secret niya. na alam ni Homelander na soup siya.
Okay.
Siya si Head Popper.
Oh.
Siya yung nag-explode ng heads nung mga nandun sa Congress.
Oh, okay. Sorry, nakalimutan ko na. Okay, sorry, sige. I give it a watch. Medyo interesting na yung nadidinig ko so far.
Yes. Please do. Yan, so we get to episode 3 na merong parang ice skating show.
Parang nakita ko sa Instagram yung ad niyan.
I don't wanna spoil it because it's so good. Grabe. Sobrang no words can describe it. Talagang you just need to see it
Okay.
to appreciate it talaga.
Sige. Ito, final question na lang since ito yung nagpagsimula natin kanina.
And vote on ice, sorry. Sige, please go ahead.
Naalala ko sa Vote on Ice yung sa mga Instagram na reels na yung parang ang pathetic na ni The Deep. Tapos parang, watch this, please. Yun yung nasa ad dun sa Instagram. How pathetic is he now? Even more pathetic than last season ba?
Kung pathetic dati na naaawa ka, ngayon mas pathetic na icky. Icky pathetic.
Oh my God. Sige. Okay, now I'm on board.
Yeah.
Okay, pero ito, very important question. Sabihin natin may mga katulad ko na may aversion to being completionist in terms of shows. Do I need to watch Gen V to understand the first 3 episodes so far?
At this point, no.
No, not yet.
Wala pa namang siyang
Okay.
direct connection to the Gen V plot.
Okay.
Siguro i-introduce lang yung mga characters from Gen V dun sa mga future episodes pa.
Okay.
Pero
So far, hindi pa.
so far wala pa.
Okay.
As of recording, yung first 3 episodes, wala pang connection sa Gen V.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and watch this and then catch up na lang after.
Para lang parang, so siya yun pala. Parang ganun.
Oo. Actually, parang hindi nga siya necessary viewing kasi pwede mo namang panoorin yung Gen V after the season na.
Para lang
ma-fill-in ka dun sa history nung mga bagong characters.
Okay. Okay.
Alright.
Okay. So, we're not gonna be giving a rating for the episode so far.
Because you haven't seen it then.
Ako din, oo. And we're gonna be having another episode siguro when this season ends.
Okay.
For our full rating. So that's it for the first 3 episodes of The Boys Season 4.
All right. Let's now go over to the next show for today, episodes 1 to 7 of Series 14 of Doctor Who on Disney Plus Philippines.
Okay, baka makapilay tayo.
Okay.
Okay. So, as of recording again, wala pa tayo sa
Finale.
Saturday. Wala pa tayo sa finale. So, it's June 21st, early morning. So, still a day out before the season finale. Ang weird kasi ng nomenclature nila. Kasi sa Britain, di ba, pag sabing series is the same as season.
Oo.
So, pag sabi mong
Confusing nga.
series finale doon, sa kanila parang season finale lang. Pero pag sinabi mong series finale, game over na.
Oo.
Okay, so, season finale of Doctor Who comes out on Saturday, June 22nd. So, we're gonna be just going over quickly episodes 1 to 7 of this show we absolutely love. How are you finding the season so far?
Sobrang magnetic ni Ncuti on screen.
I know, right?
He embodies the Doctor in many, many ways. Yung manic, excited, anxious, and sobrang hyper. And, alam mo yun, with demons, skeletons in his closet. Na meron siyang baggage na dinadala, but he's masking it with a smile on his face.
Ano nga, nakakatawa nga siya kasi parang so far, nakikita natin yung bits and pieces nung previous Doctors of the new Who era in how he faces the challenges that they've gone through so far. Sila ni Ruby Sunday, yung kanyang awesome new companion played by Millie Gibson. Again, the Doctor is portrayed by Ncuti Gatwa of Sex Education fame.
And Barbie.
And Barbie, yes, also was a Ken last year. Yun. So, alam mo, tama ka na sa sinabi mo na ibang klase yung energy niya. Ibang klase yung kanyang charisma. Ibang klase yung kanyang appeal, kumbaga. Na nakikita mo din yung ginagamit niyang pag-mask nung kanyang pain. Yung ganyong mga klaseng qualities niya. So, it's still continuing the recurring parang thematic elements of the Doctor na yung una natin nakita kay Christopher Eccleston way back Doctor 9.
Yeah.
Tapos yung talagang nag-double down siya dun sa denial niya kay kay David Tennant. Tapos yung dinaan niya sa parang pa-whimsy
Delusional Joy.
Oo, parang gano'n pa siyang si Joy. Yung kay Matt Smith.
Na lagi na lang tinatago, siniset aside si sadness.
Oo, and sorry, whatever the hell Jodie Whittaker was. Sorry, I mean...
She's anxiety.
Okay, sure. High praise?
Not her fault.
Yeah.
It's the writing.
Well, pero yun na nga Ang nakakatuwa kasi over the 7 episodes that we've had so far for this Doctor, si 15th Doctor, nabalik yung ang dami nating emotions na naramdaman through these 7 episodes
Akala ko sa Inside Out.
Well, I mean, parang actually parang nanonood na isang season ng Doctor Who dun sa kalahating oras na Inside Out. Pero yung namimiss ko nung panahon ni Jodie was when this show would talagang keep me on the edge of my seat 1 week and then another week it would just parang drop a completely silly, borderline stupid but still fun episode.
Yes,
and then the next week bigla tayong babagsakan ng isang all-time classic.
Oo.
Diba?
And then biglang magiging existential naman.
Existential siya.
Yeah.
Tapos biglang bibigyan tayo ng isang lore heavy na parang tandaan niyo tong episode na to Yung ganon.
Or an old villain from the old history pa ng Doctor Who.
Diba?
I mean, 60s or 70s Doctor Who.
True.
Ganon.
Ikaw, dun sa 7 episodes that we've had so far, which one is your favorite? I think parehas tayo pala sa go.
The one that stood out to me talaga was 73 Yards.
Yeah, same. Okay, sige, bakit?
Ito kasi yung parang thin line between reality and sci-fi. Na nagbo-blur na yung line na yon. Parang tinatranscend niya kasi yung brand ng Doctor Who dun sa story na yon. Para siyang nagiging Twilight Zone. Hindi siya about time travel. It's a very contained story with characters na you can count in one hand.
Mhm.
Pero that thrill, yung mystery of trying to guess anong nangyayari. I love when a show or a movie does that to me. Na it keeps me guessing. It keeps me on the edge of my seat. Na ang pinakamaganda pa doon is when they stick the landing. And
True.
it makes sense in the end.
True.
And it was so satisfying.
Yeah.
Kaya para sa akin, isa to sa mga pinaka well-rounded, well-written, and well-directed episodes.
Yeah. I agree with everything you said. Ako naman, what I loved about 73 Yards is a bit of background. Personally, I consider the Doctor Who episodes I consider the best are the ones that do away with the quote-unquote traditional Doctor Who formula.
Yes,
Yun.
yes.
Diba? Na ang standard formula kasi ng Doctor Who episode is dadating si TARDIS, lalabas sila sa TARDIS, tapos biglang, where are we, Doctor? Okay, this is world so-and-so, but there's something here. What is that? Tapos discover the mystery. And then si companion either mapuput in peril or siya yung parang makakatulong kay Doctor na mag-realize kung ano ba yung totoong nature nitong mystery. And then they'll all come together in the end and realize that there was a lesson behind this adventure and how it contributes to the Doctor's parang ever-evolving morality.
Yes.
Yun.
And also, just to add to what you just said, sobrang ganda nung sinabi mo. Yung sinabi mo na yung best episodes ng Doctor Who is the one that
Do not stick to the formula.
do not stick to the formula. Kasi, ako naman, yung mga favorite episodes ko ng Doctor Who is yung companion experiences. Yung center nung story. Yung Blink. It featured,
Actually, hindi nga yung companion at all eh.
yun nga, pero parang yung parang third-party observer perspective.
Yes.
Yon. Gusto ko pa yung Love and Monsters.
Oo.
Tapos,
Until the ending, pero sige. Okay.
tapos yung Turn Left.
Yun pa. Classic episode.
So, I love those na hindi nakadepende yung main character sa Doctor.
Oo. Ito naman, in terms of the formula itself, yung mga gusto ko katulad nung parang Midnight. Yon. Na walang companion doon. It's just the Doctor just trying to figure it out and even siya hindi niya alam kung ano nangyayari. Yon. Na yung sobrang niyang stripped down to the basic core tenets of a good sci-fi story. Hindi pa nga siya a good Doctor Who story, just a good sci-fi story.
Yes.
Yon. And ganun yung 73 Yards kasi never once at all sinabi kung ano yung parang pinaka central na mysterious figure doon sa episode. Pero dahil ang ganda ng writing, alam mong sobrang sure-handed, alam mong confident, and alam mong capable yung nagsusulat ng kwento. You're willing to just go along for the ride and you parang want the show to just surprise you with where it's going.
Yes.
Now, I understand as well na for some, this is a very divisive episode kasi nga walang doctor dito at all. And actually, yun nga, the central mystery itself isn't explained. Siguro, I guess that would be a matter of personal preference. Pero yun na nga, andun ako sa camp ng when I digest my sci-fi or mystery stories, I don't want to. Actually, it's even better na wag mong sabihin sa akin kung ano yung mystery itself. Let the mystery linger in my head and let me parang come up with my own conclusion as to what the hell just happened. Yon.
It's the same way na kapag ka nakakita ka ng magic trick, you want to wonder how they did it.
Naalala ko naman kanina, bago tayo nag-record, nanonood tayo ng What We Do in the Shadows. Tapos yung parang siya sa episode na yung Vampire Theater Chuchu. Tapos bigla may magic trick sa stage. Ito si Colin Robinson. I know how they did that. Sabi ni,
please, just let me enjoy this.
Sabi ni Nadja. Parang ganun.
You don't want the secret of the magic trick explained to you. Parang you just wanna enjoy it. Ganun.
Oo, diba? And yun na nga the best sci-fi and / Doctor Who, even Star Trek stories are the ones where it's the narrative momentum of the episode, of the writing that just carries you along. And you forget na you're watching a show. You just want to see where this story goes.
Yes, yes.
That's what great storytelling is. You forget na you are watching something and you are swept along or swept by the experience.
Exactly. And
Yan.
that's what 73 Yards did for us.
Oo.
And I have a question for you. Since this is like parang season-long arc
Ayun
na
pa.
naglo-loom over our companion character, si
Yes,
Ruby
Ruby
Sunday. It's been alluded to parang almost every episode na there's something about Ruby. Not a Cameron Diaz movie.
Okay.
Pero there's something about Ruby. So, feeling ko, ito nang sa finale na siya i-reveal finally.
Okay,
Do you
sige.
have any predictions?
Sige. Bago natin yan, just a table setting na mabilisan lang. So, what Angie's talking about is, so far, season 14, okay? Yun nga, Ruby is, first off, a foundling. Yan. The mysterious figure drops her off on the church on Ruby Road. And
Hence her name.
Hence her name. Dropped off on Ruby Road on a Sunday. So, Ruby Sunday.
Christmas Eve.
Yan. Tapos, dun sa 6 episodes before the penultimate episode, episode 7, they keep seeing the same face over and over again of a woman. And actually, napaka-cheeky nga nung meta hint about her kasi the actress's name in real life is
Susan Twist.
Susan Twist. Yan. So, that got everybody buzzing. Parang, okay, wow, Susan Twist. So, may twist. Tapos may katapat dun sa, yung sa The Devil's Cord.
Sa dulo.
Another great episode, by the way. Featuring
Jinx Monsoon, the
yes.
queen of all queens.
Yes.
RuPaul's Drag Race fans.
Oo.
Hello, hello, hello.
As, ano yung pangalan niya dun? As the Maestro.
Maestro.
Yan. Sobrang, masabi ko lang pala, ang ganda nung may sequence dun na sobrang epic. Yung bigla niyang siknock out yung lahat ng sound sa mundo. Ang ganda nung sequence na ibang klase yun.
I love that. And any story that, includes the Beatles.
Yun.
Up there for me.
And then there's yung song number nila sa dulo. Ang pangalan is There's Always a Twist in the End.
Yeah.
Tapos, nakita na natin doon na, may isang actress doon sa credits ang pangalan, Susan Twist.
Yes.
Diba? Tapos every episode, it's the same actress. Is, ano yung sabi na? Is an ambulance, is a hiker, para siyang,
She's a mother
of
the parang yung mga bata doon sa isang planet, yung sa Dot and Bubble.
Tapos she's an engineer or whatever. Basta lumalabas siya lagi. Yan. Tapos, yun nga, naisip natin, oh shit, Susan Twist. So, may twist in the end about the Doctor and Susan. Long-time fans will know that Susan is a very important name.
Especially sa lore ni Doctor.
Oo. Kasi siya yung granddaughter ni Doctor. Susan Foreman, the granddaughter of the very first Doctor.
Back in
63.
Yeah, wow.
William Hartnell.
Yes.
63, basta, ganun na katagal. Late 60s na siya. So, dito sa episode 7, The Legend of Ruby Sunday, na-reveal na, red herring lang pala siya. Hindi pala siya talaga yung big twist. There's this even bigger evil.
An old villain
from the 4th Doctor.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Grabe, deep cut na talaga to.
Makes
sense actually given yung logo niyang bago. Di ba yun yung logo niya, no? Yun yung Doctor Who logo is logo ni Forian.
Ganun ba? I did not know that.
That's how it would make sense to me kasi parang, okay, why would RTD choose to resurrect an old logo from old Who, tapos yung villain na gagamitin dito, yung The One Who Waits, is from Doctor 4.
Yun nga yung nakakatawa dito Parang it really rewards the loyal fan base of this long-running show. Kasi whether parang yun nga yung sinasabi lagi kapag Doctor Who, parang every generation has their own Doctor. Kasi ilan na bang Doctors meron? This is the 15th Doctor now.
Yes.
So, nagkaroon na siya ng 15 na iterations before Ncuti. So, yon parang ang rich talaga ng history niya and ang dami-daming pwedeng hugutan. And it's just so amazing how RTD still parang looks back on the history and alam mo yon, they keep it alive.
And ako, siguro from a business perspective, it's the best move that they can make kasi it's no secret that fans, us included, turned away in droves during the Jodie years. You're right, it's not because of her. It's just shitty writing that sank that ship.
Yeah.
Muntik pang ma-cancel pa yung show
It was
itself.
really that bad. Nag-turn away talaga yung fan base
diba?
Sa Doctor Who nung panahon na yun.
Kaya talagang okay, what do we need to do to get everybody back? Tawagin si David Tennant.
Yeah, okay. Tama. And that's what they did.
Na oo naman sa kahit anong sabihing Doctor Who.
Kaladkarin din yun.
Pero ako, sige, I won't pretend to be a huge Doctor Who nerd. Alam ko na there are
Bigger nerds than
than
us.
us. And we have our friends with more learned Whovians.
Yeah, Karen
Yes.
and Lorna.
Karen and Lorna, yes.
Shout out to you guys.
our cinema buddies. So, hindi ko alam. Hindi ko kilala kung sino tong si Sutek. Si The One Who Waits.
Yeah. Pero ito, let me just reel you in
Okay.
back to my original question.
Sorry. I'll go.
Yeah, ang dami nang
Yeah,
naging tangent eh. Ano sa tingin mo yung mystery about Ruby Sunday?
Actually, at this point, given where the story is so far, from my understanding of the story so far, parang biglang nag-take ng backseat yung mystery ng identity niya. Kasi biglang sinabi na Sutek is the one who waits. Ngayon, etong the one who waits na parang moniker niya, sinabi pa lang yan nung kay Toymaker pa.
Before introducing us to Ruby Sunday.
Before introducing us to Ruby Sunday pa. So, ako, I'm all for finding out about who she is. Pero, siguro medyo madami na silang threads na nabuklat doon sa kwento so far. Kaya itong finale na lalabas on Saturday, so Friday is the time of recording, parang I want them to resolve the Sutek thing first. And I'm so happy na there is going to be a Christmas special this December featuring the return of my personal favorite showrunner na magsusulat ng episode, Stephen Moffat. Yes.
Okay.
So I expect a batshit crazy episode sa Pasko. Siya yung, ang pangalan nun din, Joy to the World. So it's another Christmas episode.
Oh,
So,
we have a history of very good Christmas
Yes.
episodes. Yeah.
And yun na nga eh. So alam ko, okay lang sa akin na hindi pa ma-resolve kung sino siya. Kasi meron pa tayong Christmas. And tatapos ng mag-shoot ng series... Nagtapos na mag-shoot. Ito talaga yung season tsaka series. Nakakabulol talaga eh. Natapos na mag-shoot ng series 15.
Okay.
So, one thing to add lang din dyan. Ang daming nagpo-post sa Reddit ng Doctor Who na parang, bakit, miss ko yung time na 13 episodes siya per season? Blah, 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 blah.
Eh, may mga filler episodes nung panahon na yun eh.
Oo. Pero kasi, ang mas pragmatic na way of looking at it is, mas okay na tong 8 sa isang taon given sobrang ibang klase yung special effects niya. Kaysa naman every other year sa lalabas.
So yearly. Yearly naman siya.
Babalik tayo sa yearly. Yun din
Okay.
yun eh.
True.
So next year, meron tayong series 15. And then Christmas. And then ganon. So on and so forth.
Okay.
So, I'm okay with waiting until Christmas to know who she is.
And it's fitting din naman kasi Christmas din nag-start yung story
Yung kwento
niya.
Exactly. Diba?
Okay.
Tapusin muna natin kay Sutek. Kasi kay Neil Patrick Harris pa nagsimula yung The One Who Waits eh. There you go. Ikaw,
Yeah, that's true.
Do you agree with me or do you have parang, would you really want to know who Ruby is na?
Of course, I really want to know kasi talagang ang dami na nilang parang breadcrumbs na kinalat dun sa buong season eh.
Okay.
So parang para sa akin, just freaking say it. Sino ba siya?
Pero feeling ko naman na they'll go over it patak-patak pa rin kasi meron di ba yung Tales of the TARDIS na parang mini show or something. Hindi ko pa, I'm not really aware or parang well-versed about that.
Hindi yan
show
yung
pa so far.
parang Big Fish.
Hindi siya Big Finish. Hindi siya
Big Finish story.
Magiging show siya talaga.
Okay.
So hindi ko alam kung parang is it going to propel the story forward or parang yung, alam mo yung short treks sa Discovery nung dati. Yung parang mga short episodes na ganun.
Parang Torchwood, ganun?
Hindi Torchwood. Naalala mo nung Discovery, ng between seasons, milalabas na parang 3 15-minute episodes sa Netflix. Nasa Netflix pa yung Discovery. Diba?
Hindi
Tapos
ko na
yung may kwento yun, yung Calypso, yung nahanap 1,000 years into the future yung Discovery na walang laman. Yung mga ganun. Feeling ko ganun lang siya na magiging, sige to.
Baka parang Marvel shorts.
Naalala mo nung panahon nung 2008 and something pa. Yung mga webisodes.
Sa Thor, merong ganun.
Yung mga ganun. Yung parang sa Lost, di ba yung may mga webisodes yung mga taga-Dharma Initiative na mga sino tong si ganito, sino tong si ganyan. Yung mga 10 minutes lang.
Okay.
Yung mga ganun.
Okay.
So parang feeling ko na doon nila i-fill in yung kwento leading up to Christmas.
Okay.
Pero,
Yeah.
see.
We'll be seeing the finale June 22. So, just like The Boys, this is a continuing story.
Wala
so,
pa tayong rating. Yeah. Okay.
Let's move over now.
To the last show for this episode.
The much
Finally.
anticipated second season of House of the Dragon on HBO.
Yeah.
Ayan. Namiss mo ba yung theme song ng Game of Thrones?
Yes and no. Yes, kasi ang epic ng House of the Dragon, pero parang nung pinlay siya, nung pinanood natin yung first episode nitong season 2, parang, asan yung mapa? Bakit tapestry?
Di ba nung season 1 ng House of the Dragon, mapa siya?
Mapa pa rin.
Oh.
Di ba? Parang sorry
Nakaka-mesmerize kasing panoorin yung mga building na bigla na lang nag-a-assemble. Parang Transformers na
Although sabihin natin na yung dun sa first season ng House of the Dragon, it's just parang building up to this, yung castle ng mga Targaryen, gano'n yung mga different parang sub-families nila doon. Ito kasi parang weird. Bakit tapestry? Anong pakuluto? Di ba?
Would you say that Westeros is getting soft?
Shall we lead with that? Sige, let's go ahead.
Sige, let me start muna. Ito muna yung first question ko.
Sige, go.
Ito ang parang, kumbaga sa Star Trek, Kirk or Picard na question sa fandom.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Team Black or Team Green? Go. Let's end friendships now.
I mean, Team Black, obviously.
Yeah!
Walang question dun. Kasi wala Well, actually, ito nakakatawa dun Yung sa Team Green naman kasi, isa lang naman yung masama dun
Isa lang yung kilala nating Team Green.
Parang siyang one-man Team Green lang siya. Tapos yung mga kasama niya dun parang, anong gagawin natin? Di ba? Parang puro machinations lang ni Otto Hightower yung nasa Team Green
Oo.
Di ba?
Talagang si Rasputin no? Pati ba naman dito, diba? Rasputin?
Di ba? Basta makita mo si Rhys Ifans sa show. Oh, no.
Oo.
Well, at least Notting Hill. Ano siya doon? Lovable dork siya doon.
Nudist. Lovable Frenny.
Pero yun, essentially, it's just Otto Hightower
versus the world.
Talaga. Eventually, we will know na the Hightowers are just a footnote in Westerosi history sa Game of Thrones.
They don't even exist by the time na panahon na nila Jon Snow. Diba? Yung Game of Thrones era.
So, you know that everything Otto is doing is for nothing. Kaya parang yung God. Some people already know where this is gonna go. Ako, I haven't read one page of this saga. Kahit yung mga side books ba. Kaya I'm just taking this as the episodes are released. And alam mo yung parang, God, Otto.
And by the way, as of recording, isang episode pa lang ang lumalabas ng HOTD.
True. Ikaw, Team Green or Team Black?
Team Black. Siyempre. Kasi parang, alam mo yung...
Team Matt Smith. Doctor Who pa rin
Doctor Who pa rin, tama.
Okay, anyway, sige, go continue, sorry.
Alam kong what it looks like from the outside is parang Team Black is for the matriarchy. Pero hindi kasi yun yung parang pinaka sinusuhorn nung story.
Okay.
Yes, Rhaenyra is a woman, pero hindi yun yung dahilan kung bakit siya yung rightful heir. Siya yung rightful heir kasi siya yung pinili ni Viserys. Yeah. And siya yung tinrain. Siya yung pinasahan ng corona. Siya yung gustong maging successor.
Tama.
And dahil dito kay Hightower, and tinake advantage nila yung weakness ni Viserys and his disease. Tapos na, meron pang misheard lyrics na narinig si Alicent dun sa deathbed ni Viserys na niya na pala decision siya na yung nagbigay ng meaning nun. Talagang Team Black ka because logically, yun siya talaga yung nag-make sense na maging successor. Not just because she's female. Kaya parang hindi naman matriarchy yung reason kung bakit. Yon. And so far, in this episode, isang episode pa lang naman, it picked up where season 1 left off, which is the death of the second son of Rhaenyra. So, nakita na natin yung aftermath nun and the growing conflict between the two parang factions of the Targaryen family. So, gantihan na. Ito na yung umpisa ng ubusan lahi. Pero may mga criticism siya kasi that particular scene daw na parang comparable to the Red Wedding.
Okay, yun.
Was
tama.
watered down.
Sige, yun na. Kaya ako sinabi kanina na parang, should we start with that? Okay? Ano yung tanong mo kanina? Is Westeros getting soft?
Yes.
Answer is, yes, it is. So, as is, yung sa episode, before natin siya discuss with our other fellow fans or yung the cinema buddies, the scene itself in question, which involves yung pagpatay doon sa anak Targaryen, the king of Westeros right now, which is yung anak ni Alicent.
Yes.
Okay? Para siyang, ang labas niya doon sa show ngayon is it's a comedy of errors because of two stupid sellswords.
Si Dumb and Dumber.
So yung pala si
Not D&D.
Si Benioff at saka si Weiss pala yun. Yung representation nila sa show.
No. si Blood at saka si Cheese.
Screw you, Benioff and Weiss, forever. Kahit anong gagawin nyo, wala kayong kwenta kayong dalawa.
Yeah,
anyway.
So if you wanna look up the background of what we're talking about, yun yung Blood and Cheese.
Yun. So, it's portrayed in the show as this comically inept and stupid sequence na ba't hindi nila sinunod yung inutos ni Daemon Targaryen, Matt Smith. Pero eventually, we were made to know that this was supposed to be the Fire and Blood equivalent of the Red Wedding. Na sobrang niyang talagang nakaka-traumatize panoorin ulit. Kasi yung the way it's set up in the book is hindi lang siya dahil parang the sellswords chose a child and then killed him or what.
And the moral conundrum that is put on Helaena, the mother.
Yung nanay ng mga bata, napapapiliin siya kung sino yung gusto niyang mamatay. And nadinig yun ng mga anak niya. Yun. Kasi may pinili yung si Helaena eh. Yun, yung asawa ni Aegon Targaryen, the king.
The sister wife.
Sister wife, yes. So, to go back to your question, yes, Westeros is getting soft. Kasi I will trash them forever and ever and ever. Kahit may quote-unquote maganda silang gawing palabas or what. Pero that's what I will give to them. Kay Benioff tsaka kay Weiss. Actually, dun sila excited dun sa mga parts na yun ng libro na i-bring to life.
Kasi yun yung mga set pieces that is what will inform the actions of the characters moving forward.
Exactly.
Yung parang spark that started the wildfire.
Exactly. So
na hindi mo na makokontrol.
For them to chicken out and then not show the event in its full brutality, para siyang, ako sa akin, nung pinanood natin, tapos na-realize, nung nalaman natin dapat pala mas worse pa siya, para sa akin, oh my God, Game of Thrones, nabawi mo na yung sarili mo nung season 1 ng House of the Dragon.
Oo nga.
Gagawin na naman natin to. Are we gonna be doing this again? Are we?
Yeah, pero ayun nga, medyo disappointing talaga kasi, after Red Wedding, doon na mas naging invested lahat ng tao sa mga Stark eh.
Diba? Actually, tama ka dun eh. Kasi simula ng Red Wedding, doon ko lang pinanood yung Game of Thrones talagang, sige, kailangan mo i-marathon lahat yan.
You need that trauma.
That's what galvanizes an entire population to watch this show.
You need to be fired up.
That's what makes this water cooler stuff. Napanood mo ba yun?
Kailangan intense yung reaction ng mga tao for them to get on this, di ba?
Kasi ito nakakatawa. Last season, ang dami niyang ganun. Sunod-sunod pa nga. Oh my God, napanood niyo ba yung ganun? Puro siya mga WTF, OMG moments last season. Sunod-sunod.
And hindi na nga siya parang unexpected or parang controversial because it's their brand.
Yeah.
Di ba? That is the Westeros brand.
So why? Are we watering this down for the very, very sensitive audience members whose generation I will not name now?
Grabe.
Para lang hindi sila quote-unquote offend. Jesus Christ, this is Game of Thrones. It's meant to offend. Okay? That's the brand of the show.
Yun nga, kaya nga which is sobrang disappointing. Meron na silang naset na expectation sa atin eh. They just have to, tame that.
Kaya
parang trust your audience. They have taken worse than this. Parang ganon. They can take it.
God. Real life is worse than this. My God. Parang, why are we now chickening out on media? My God.
So sayang kasi it's one of the plot lines ng Dance of the Dragons na talagang nag-spark talaga ng vitriol nila sa isa't isa eh.
Oo. Kasi parang as is, it just continue, it can actually continue the conflict dun sa pace na meron niya ngayon. So parang okay, sige, wala nangyari. And then ang mas pinili nilang shock value moment dun is seeing Alicent on top of Criston Cole. Mas yun yung pinili nilang shock value. Parang,
and God. Ito pa nga, sabi ni Olivia Cook na mas wilder pa daw yung sex scene na yun. So parang watered down din pati yun. Kasi ang pinakita lang yung likod niya.
So,
pero parang mas animalistic pa daw yun. That kinot na.
So we ended up choosing a different angle to quote-unquote create controversy, ends up getting cut, and then we end up losing everything.
Yun nga
so
kasi
stupid.
Parang it could have been very metaphorical. Kasi parang merong illusion si Alicent ng honor and respect sa vow of purity ni Criston. Pero continually ina-abuse niya din si Criston. Parang ganon. So tapos pati yung purity ni Criston Cole, yung sinumpaan niya, is being Ano
na yun eh. Kasi okay naman yun sa pinakita dun sa simula ng episode. Na yung may thing sila, tapos may ginagawa sila, tapos yung sinabi lang na parang we don't do this again. Okay, sige. I understand the narrative rhyming na gustong gawin nila na parang sinabi nila to sa simula, pay off to sa dulo.
They say one thing and then they're
doing something
the opposite.
Worse. Or not worse, parang more, parang boundary pushing than what they said na parang we don't do this again. Pero kasi, why did they sacrifice the impact of that plotline? Essentially parang neutering what's supposed to be the Red Wedding of Fire and Blood or House of the Dragon and just parang ang ending is yung pinili nilang parang quote-unquote more controversial stuff, hindi din pala nila ipapalabas.
Well, mas nag-bank sila dun sa isa pang brand ng Westeros, which is sex.
Hindi din nga pinakita din eh.
Yun na nga. Kahit yun, watered down din.
Watered down. So who are we watering this down for?
Yeah, I don't know. Pero this
Kids
is just...
don't watch Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. This show is for us, the adults. Why are you watering this down for us? Nakakainis lang.
True. Well, it's just episode 1 pa lang naman.
Eh,
Marami pa silang chances to do better.
Good. Alam mo yung sobrang short ng leash ko para sa palabas na to. Kasi para siyang after the bullshit that they pulled ng ending ng season 8 ng Game of Thrones. Parang, alam mo yung pag meron kang kamag-anak na tinarantado ka, tapos nag-sorry, nagpakita ng contrition, tapos biglang babalik dun sa ginawa niya, mawawala yung lahat ng amor na ano niya eh, na build up niya very, very slowly eh. Parang ganito yung pakiramdam ko sa kanya ngayon eh. Parang sige, we're still gonna watch this. Yeah, because we want to know where the story goes. Pero as far as the goodwill that season 1 got for me, okay, medyo back to zero siya ulit para sa akin. They have to do something really, really crazier than season 1 for them to parang still get the feeling na, okay, sige, they're trying to make up for the clusterfuck that was season 8. Pero as it stands now, parang the trust is gone. For now, again.
Yeah, for now.
And I don't trust them to regain the trust again, sadly.
Well, may chances pa rin naman. Pero, ayun nga, they really have to earn it.
Yeah. Ikaw?
I agree naman with everything you said. You said a lot. So, parang, yun na, wala na kayo ba masasabi?
Kasi alam mo yung parang yung pakiramdam na ito pag sa Game of Thrones, parang you're going back to an abusive relationship.
PTSD.
Parang pinatawad mo yung abuser mo, parang sige na, hindi mo na uulitin yan na, please. Tapos biglang ginanong ka na naman.
Wow, hugot ba yan?
Hindi naman. Hindi naman. Hindi yan. Ayun lang na parang siyang... Yeah.
PTSD.
Yung season 1 feels like a honeymoon phase. All of a sudden. Na parang yung 3 linggong nagtinu siya bigla.
And it took them 2 years
to make this. Diba?
Ang tagal nating naghintay after season 1 na fairly good naman. And na
season 1 was great.
Na ano naman nila tayo, nabawi nila tayo from Game of Thrones finale.
Pero yun na nga eh. Sobrang may asterisk kapag sinabi mong great.
Parang you're still on thin ice.
Yun. Tama yun. Yung hinahanap ko yun.
Kumbaga, wala ka pa sa solid ground eh. You're still proving yourself to us. And then, ayan namin, nakikita kaming cracks. So, you better cross that thin ice and get to solid ground. Quick.
Yeah. Otherwise. Yeah.
So, I guess
I
that's it.
can't believe I'm saying na I miss the brutality of Benioff and Weiss.
But we do. Ako personally, I do. Kasi it informs where the characters are gonna come from eh.
Sige, I miss their brutality. I don't miss them. Please, huwag na kayo magpakita sa kahit anong palabas or show anymore, please.
In terms of storytelling and characterization, important to eh. Tong event na to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, withheld ulit ang rating natin because it's episode 1. So, babalikan naman natin.
Not a good start. Pero, yeah.
Medyo, shaky.
Shaky ground siya. Nice.
Parang hindi siya yung parang bonggang opener that will blow your mind kanya. Hindi eh. So, yeah. Ay, ito na naman tayo sa Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
What an abusive relationship. Alright.
Anyway,
tama na to.
Yeah. That's it, I guess. That's a good point to stop na.
Oo, tama na. Yung puso ko.
Mabubuklat yung mga sugat natin sa season 7 and 8.
Ayan pa.
Okay, that's it. That's it for today's Cinegeek TV Roundup. Okay, if you've seen anyone or all of the shows we've talked about today, we would absolutely love to hear your thoughts about them. Comment it on our social media accounts down below on our Spotify episode page, or if you're a part of our Cinegeeks PHHQ page, let us know of what you thought.
Yeah. And of course, as always, don't forget to set your players to automatically download our new episodes so you don't miss out on our fun Cinegeek conversations. And while you're at it, give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you had fun, if natawa kayo, if nagalit din kayo during this episode.
5 stars.
Yeah. Support group to eh.
Yeah. As always, the studios and distributors of the shows weren't given any creative control or editorial approval of this episode. They are hearing our review for the first time, same as you are.
For my co-host Troy, this has been Angela. Thank you for listening to the Cinegeeks podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide.
Game of Thrones!
do, 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 do.